welcome back to 123 Conversations, or welcome if this is your first time here. So this is the show where we ask one questions with two of our hosts, or us two hosts, myself, Candice Thomas, and Terri Dean, and we ask three questions. But we've expanded since we started our show. We've been interviewing different people, and then we realized we haven't interviewed each other. So what we thought we would do was just kick off a series of videos so you could get to know us a little bit better, the same way that you're getting to know some of our amazing guests a little bit better. And so one of the things that we do here is we interview people, and the people that we interviewed usually are entrepreneurs, not all of them, and artists. And they've been giving us some great feedback about other opportunities that they've been getting as they've been guests on our show, which really just highlighted the importance of how special it is to, when you feel called to do something in the world, whether you're an entrepreneur or not, but how do you get in front of people on podcasts, on speaking gigs? We had Tayloria Grant on, who was talking about how to get in front of people on social media, which is what we're doing. But Terri Dean has been instrumental, and this is Terri to this side. I think she'll be on if you're watching us on YouTube.
For me.
Okay. Okay. So one of these sides, I'm just going to go this way, and one of these fingers will point at Terri Dean. But Terri Dean she does so many things. She's a creative entrepreneur, been in business for over 30 years in sales and marketing, advertising, all of those things, and helping people get seen and get exposure. And she's kind of my secret sauce, my secret weapon for things. For those of you who don't know, I'm Candice Thomas. I'm an intuitive coach. And what I do is pretty weird, right? So I'm a psychic medium, but I teach people how to use their own intuition to get tangible results in their life. And that's such an odd, weird topic that I didn't know how to get in front of people without looking like a total crazy person, right? And Terri is one of wherever she is on the screens, Terri is one of the people who really was instrumental in getting me to be taken seriously and seen on different platforms and stages. So I thought, as we're kicking off interviewing each other and letting our audience know us a bit better, Terri, if you would tell us some tips around if there is a person who would like to get more speaking gigs or to be more visible, not necessarily just on social media, but on podcasts, on radio, on stages, if you would just share some of your best tips for how a person might do that.
It's kind of a big question, right? Because we have so many opportunities today to be seen, to be heard, to be witnessed by people who are our potential clients or our potential audience, that we always need to kind of just be on point and paying attention. There's television, of course, there's radio, there are podcasts like out the wazoo now. Everyone and their grandmother pretty much has a podcast, or TikTok or whatever. We've got all these social platforms. So I think first thing you need to do is really dial it in and figure out, like we were just talking about intention, before we started talking today, but like, what's your intention? Who are you trying to reach? And really pull it in as tightly as possible. And even if it's just identifying who your target market is, or who your core audience is, and then really looking at the platforms where those people are living, and then trying to find your people there. You have to be really brave and put yourself out there. And the funny thing for me is I'm always like the person in the background. I'm not the one looking for an audience. I'm always helping other people find their customers. And so even doing this podcast has been really kind of a shift for me, but it's super fun and I love it. And I love doing it with you. So it's been fun, and we've gotten more brave even with the places we've shared this platform, and that's been mainly because of the guests we've had on the show. It's like, oh my God, we're being so selfish here, just keeping this internally with the Fem City Network, because we have these global leaders that we've talked to that it's like, oh my God, how dare we not share them with other people that we might be connected to or with? So that's kind of a long answer, but did that
does
some of it?
Yeah. So can you talk to me a little bit about how does a person pull it in? What are the things that they should consider when they're thinking about, this is the audience that I'm trying to reach? because you do that. So for those of you who don't know, a few gigs that Terri has helped me get. She helped me get my first ever paid speaking gig with she just, because she knows me so well and the work that I do, she mentioned to someone who had a conference that was going on that spoke to other healers and a lot of people in I can't think of the word, but energy medicine, but more EFT rooted in some science, not just super wooey. Not that there's anything wrong with super wooey. And so Terri got me onto that stage as one of their speakers for one of their annual events, which was phenomenal. And then Terri also got me a gig on the radio on one of the most popular channels here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm getting tongue-tied today. Need to drink water. And I was there for 6 months every week. I was there for a little bit, just working with the guests and also taking calls from the audience. And it was just really phenomenal how that came to be. So the only thing I was clear about in those instances is I wanted to connect with people. I wanted to really be of service and be of use. And I'm just wondering, for a person who's like, yeah, what do I need to think about in order to get super intentional and who my target market is? What do you mean by that?
Well, I want to just address one quick thing you said, and you said local radio, but it's actually a channel that is streamed worldwide. So
that's true.
We've basically been on a worldwide platform and probably heard by a lot of people. You had no idea we're listening. So I just want to say that. I think it's just about figuring out what is it that we really want to do. And I think it's important to make lists, and these are the things that are a priority to me. And these are the things I want to either present or teach or sell. These are the items I want to sell. Or am I making any, I don't know. I feel like I'm still talking sort of broad here. But
I think it depends by person. So what I would want to say is one of the things that made the speaking gigs that you hooked me up with successful is I was clear about, okay, I am willing to look like a fool in public, which Betsy Morgan Kaufman, who's a famous channeler out here in New Mexico, I think all over the world, actually, not just here in New Mexico, says, willing to look like a fool for what I believe in,
Right.
And it was really important for me to reach people who could really use, here's how to connect, because using your intuition on purpose is connecting with a part of your soul, but also your human, really radical acceptance and love. And it's like, I think people could really use this. And I also wanted to work with people who are in the business of helping other people. Right. So when you got me that paid speaking gig, it was like, I was very clear on, I feel drawn to do this. This is who I feel drawn to reach. But I didn't, and I knew I was okay with being on a stage with it. But I didn't have the avatar that a lot of people talk about, like it's women 30 to whatever. Like to me, my avatar is based more on core values of the kind of person wants to, like they feel called to do more in their lives. The kind of person I want to reach is the kind of person I would hang out with anyway. If we were just kicking it, we would probably be friends if there was enough time in the world to befriend everyone. They have a great sense of humor and they're really real and genuine. Like that's more my avatar versus like they make X amount of income or whatever. So something else I want to ask you is, how do you find places? Like that's something I get asked because I tend to be on a lot of podcasts and people are like, how are you doing this? And I know how I do it, but I want to hear from you. What is a good tip for someone who, like, how do they even get started or know where to look once they have an idea of this is my intention, this is the kind of people I want to reach? What's the next step?
Well, I think, again, it goes back to think about if you want to meet somebody that you like, do the things you love to do, because I think people will show up in those same places. So it's just going to be organic. So it's the same thing. You love gaming, right? So you're in, I don't even know the proper language, but you're in these gaming rooms, I think. Is that what you call them?
No, I'm too old for that. There's like Discord, there's Discord servers and Twitch, but no, too old for that. I am on YouTube, as everyone can see, but yeah, I get what you mean, but yeah.
But again, so even just like if you're looking to make friends or you want to, find someone to date, it's really important that, I think some of your interests are in common. So you go and do the things that you love, and those people are probably going to be in the same place. And same thing kind of online. So I think just looking for opportunities within those spaces. If you're trying to be really specific, like with podcast, say you've got somebody, it's a great practice ground too for somebody who might be looking to explore television opportunities or other larger scale opportunities. Although podcasts are huge, I'm surprised that it's been so great for us, because our guests now are coming back and going, oh my gosh, I got 3 new clients, and
Right.
just like that, that's cool. So I would say, like, podcasts, it's fine. I have some strategy, and I've helped other people get booked on podcast. Because I'm an avid podcast listener, I enjoy a lot of different shows, but I have a lot of amazing people around me that I feel like, oh my God, your voice is so strong, your message is so important, and you can help so many people, that I will help connect. And I've done it for money, too. And I've just done it because I love it. But actually reaching out, and don't just throw out there something and go, hey, I want to be on your show. Or I heard I could be on your show. No. Why do you want to be on the show? I want to know that you've listened to at least one episode, and I want to know why. What is it about? Like, if somebody were approaching us, I want to know, why are you reaching out? Let me know that you've paid some attention here, because time is precious, and we have a lot of people that are right now waiting to be contacted that we need to get on the schedule and work into the days. So I think you can't just randomly, willy-nilly throw things out there, but listen to the podcast. I always, my strategy includes, I go to Instagram, I go to Facebook, I look at the number of followers that people have. I go to the reviews. If they're on like iTunes, I want to make sure the reviews are good, the reviews are solid, especially if I have a high profile person, which I have in the past, that I'm trying to make these connections for. I don't want to show up making that person look bad at all, and I don't want to look stupid either. So it's like, okay, this looks like it could be a really good fit, and then just really dialing into the metrics and making sure that if you're a brain surgeon, you don't want to be on a show where they're talking about sewing clothes. I don't know, I started to say sewing, you know what I mean? It just needs to make sense. So does that, I feel like I'm kind of talking all over the place.
No, I like that. So to break down what you said that I really liked is, so I do like gaming, and well, I'll take it back to not so much gaming, but writing. So I love writing. I like writing creatively for fun, fiction stuff,
Right.
Not just like, I do have a book that's nonfiction. But I got clients from being in a writing workshop I was in, just because of what I was speaking about. And I spoke up in class, and it wasn't even to lead or teach anything. I was just speaking up a little bit about myself, but that was something I was really passionate about. And your people are everywhere, the people that you want to connect with and reach. I really love that. So and I like what you really love, podcasts. So that's how you're able to get people all these connections on podcasts and on radio, because you authentically listen. And so, like, ooh, I know this person would be a really good fit. That genuinely, it's not just something that you're just doing to get a quota or the numbers. You're really taking the time to get to know what's going on with the show, and the person's intention and their mission, that you're connecting the two together. So from what you said, what I would say is, and again, I feel like this is where intention also becomes important, where if you are that brain surgeon, maybe you could be on the sewing show if you really love sewing. And that's a unique thing about you, is, oh, I'm a brain surgeon. But if you're just going on a sewing show because it's the number one show in town and it's hot and you don't really care, that will come through, and it'll look so inauthentic if you're like, yeah. And something else that I learned from you, which is, if I'm going to pitch myself to be a guest on someone's show, I'm going to come correct with, I've listened to episodes, and I know exactly what my mission is going to help your listeners. Like,
how can I bring value?
Exactly. Like, this is a thing that I see would enhance or add. It's kind of like this guest, but this is how it's different. And I think it would support your mission, because a lot of people who have shows, whether it's television, radio, podcasts, they have an agenda as well. They have a mission
Absolutely.
statement.
Mhm.
And it's not that hard to just be like, oh, and this is how I dovetail and fit in with it. This is my
Right.
genuine love and passion that really does come through.
So I think you have to have strategy for sure, with how you're approaching and who you're approaching. I had something else I was going to say, but it just popped out of my head. So come back to that.
I'll come back around. Yeah. So something that you spoke about, and it was just briefly, and then you moved on. But it was when, and I can't remember how you phrased it, but it's like, oh, and then I know this person's a really strong speaker, and I know that, like their story or what they're going to say is solid. It's going to be a fit. Can you speak to what makes a good, like, is it a story? What do you call it? Like, what makes a good, if someone really wants to get in front of people, how do they portray themselves in such a way where it makes an impact? And that might be beyond the scope of what we're talking about today, but what makes a person a valuable speaker or presenter? What are some tips that you have in that area? What can help them
It,
stand out?
people need to be prepared, and I never want to make a recommendation to somebody I know, like in a media outlet or somebody who has an audience, unless I know I am bringing you somebody that is vetted, prepared, and ready to go. And a lot of people just show up and there's no preparation. And then it's kind of all over the place, and that doesn't serve anyone. What I was going to touch on a second ago, too, is I think every single day, everybody is talking. If you're talking to people or if your work entails anything like that, and we hear what our friends and our coworkers and colleagues and leaders that are in our environment are saying, and we hear things, and then it's like, why wouldn't we just take that next natural step? If we hear somebody else say, oh gosh, I've been dying, I've been looking, we are looking like crazy for a speaker, we need somebody to come in and talk to us about some inspirational stuff or health or something, wellness for our employees. Why wouldn't we all just operate from a place of abundance? Just because there's, more for you doesn't mean less for me. So I always just try to take that extra few minutes and go, let me give you so-and-so's contact. Well, I don't share it. Let me back up. I don't share contact information either. I will generally do a note to somebody and say, hey, are you interested? This is who I am thinking about sending your way. Here's a LinkedIn profile. Here's a website. And if you're interested, let me know and I'll make the email introduction for you. So we have to be really mindful because, especially you think about it, people in media, a lot of times they're being hit all day, every day. Everybody wants to, be on Good Morning America or whatever it is. And so you have to be really strategic. And if you're strategic, you will be taken serious. And then generally when I reach out to somebody, I get the attention that I'm looking for because I'm not throwing stuff at people all day, every day. I just try to do it if it's a natural fit and if it's going to help someone or support the audience that's being spoken to. And yeah, I think we just always need to kind of be on cue for opportunities. And we have so many places now where we can go to be visible, and I also think look for your coaches, look for your people like Tayloria Grant, who has been on our show, who is just crushing it right now in the social media arena. I mean, if I were looking to find audience on social media, I'd go straight to Tayloria and say, help me do it.
Right.
Because, it's not the land I live in.
Right.
Find an expert,
I'm getting chills on that because you can find an expert in the area you're interested in. So there are people who specialize in, here's how to do TED Talks. If you want to speak on a TEDx stage or a TED stage, that's all they do. Or here's how to get on Good Morning America. Here's like how you get established enough to where a PR agency will even look at you. Like there are people who specialize in that arena. So there, and I think that comes back to what you said initially is what is your intention and what is really your big picture vision, and not just willy-nilly trying to do everything. Yeah.
And you're not good for anything.
Yeah. And if I understand correctly, your strategy is having an intention, being really solid in what you're going to speak about.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to throw in there, if you would like to tell your story or to help people, when you are choosing to do something auditory, like speaking or visually, especially if it's speaking, you also have to be entertaining.
Mhm.
And I hope that doesn't stress people out, but there's nothing worse than feeling like you're at another lecture and someone's
Right.
talking at you and they're not talking. And that's happened a couple times with people who initially come to us and they speak like, oh, this is so useful for XYZ.
Mhm.
But the things that capture our viewers' attention, the videos that get more likes, are people who come with, here's the story I have to tell. So really knowing what is your story, how does that
Right.
connect to whatever it is that your belief, because we're all out here just sharing what we believe at the end of the day, whether it's trying to get clients or whatever. It's like, here's this belief or here's this lesson that I've learned,
Right.
and being really solid in, yeah, this is my way of getting the story across. And then lastly, the thing I want to mention is when you were talking about looking at the numbers and the viewership, I started off similar to, but I started in, this just ties into so much of what you said. Like, what would I actually listen to? Who are the people that, even if they had no, like they were brand new podcasts, but it's like, I really like what their show is about. I really like the
Mhm.
people that they have on. They could have like two listeners, one of them being their mom, and me. And it's like, I'm going to go ahead and do that show. Like, why wouldn't I? Because I feel called and aligned to it.
Right.
And doing stuff like that, little by little, I got better at being ready for that
Mhm.
opportunity. When Terry's like, hey, do you, I have this connection for you. Would you be interested in radio? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Where I would not have been if I hadn't spent such a long time doing all these shows, just because my intention was, I want to be in front of people. I want to share this message that I have.
Mhm.
And it doesn't matter. I didn't care about the audience size, because who was I? I didn't have that many followers and I still don't, but I don't need them. It was like, I feel really dialed into, and I appreciate everyone who follows me and who watches this show. Absolutely. So it's not like that, but it's, sometimes I feel like people can get caught up in this game of looking at numbers and looking at what they don't have and where they're not at. And then that can lead to people acting a little bit shady,
Mhm.
kind of like, well, how can I, um, a little bit entitled, like, how
Yeah.
can I get on this show? Again, not because I care and because I really feel resonance here, but because they have more followers than I do. And this
Right.
will be a good opportunity for me. And that just gets you shut down super, super quick. So for anyone who's like brand new, it's like, don't be discouraged. You just start with where you're at and what you
Right.
naturally resonate with. And then of
Right.
course you can hire a Terry.
No, no. And just like who you feel aligned with, and the
Yes.
product and the content that's being put together. And if you're in alignment with that and it feels good and it feels right, like, just have fun. Just have fun. Keep it
Right.
fun, keep it light. Um, and if you've got something to say and you feel like it's going to be of value to people, then share it. That's how we all get better. That's how
So
we all get better, and that's how we grow.
my last question for you, Terry Dean, is how has this show been helping you be a better speaker or presenter, or has it been helping you in like getting people other gigs for podcasting or on shows or on TV? How has 123 Conversations helped you or changed your perspective, if at all? It's okay if the answer is not at all, too.
Well, no, I mean, one of the things I noticed right away, well, I still get nervous every time we have a guest. I'm just a lot more relaxed right now because it's just like us talking, whatever. I'm pretending like there's no record button. The whole camera thing, I don't love. It's not my jam. I love taking pictures and shooting video. I don't like necessarily being in front of the camera at all. But we were forced into a situation this last year, especially for me with work. I'm in outside sales, and all of a sudden, I couldn't go see my customers anymore. And all of a sudden, my customers weren't even able to be active in the industry that I'm in because we took a direct impact in the entertainment industry. And like, people can't go to the movies. Like, they're just now starting to open here 14 months later in our market. And I was forced to start doing all of my appointments and all of my calls on camera, which again, terrified. But because you and I do this every week and we talk and we are talking to other people, my confidence is better. I don't know necessarily that I get better, but my confidence level is higher than it was when we very first started. So I'm really grateful for that. It's made me more comfortable in my work situation. And I always want to show up and be my best there. I want to try to be my best everywhere, but
Right.
it's not like, you're going to fire me if I mess something up when we're talking. And I don't think anybody's going to fire me at my day job if I mess something up there on the video call either. I work with some really amazing people. But so that's been really fun. It's also felt like because of this, we really felt a call and a desire to support the people in our community who also had kind of lost that opportunity to be physically able to present in front of a crowd, which is maybe something they normally do, or be around people, but we kept their name out there kind of front and center, and we're able to highlight other amazing people that we know and hopefully uplift, inspire, and you know, just share in general, and improve someone's day or life or career or whatnot. And the circle continues to grow and get better because now, like I mentioned earlier, we've just kind of really gained extra joy that people are getting clients who are coming on our show. They're
Right.
having people reaching out to them, and maybe it's not that immediate day we release the podcast, but like 3 months later or 4 months later,
Right.
and it's just like, that is super awesome because we really are here to, we love supporting community and other great people that we know. And our world is just bigger and better because of everyone around us, you know?
Right. Um, I love everything about that. That's awesome sauce. Thank you so much. And how do people get a hold of you if they want to know more information about you or to connect? What's your contact info?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Terri, Terri, last name Dean, Dean. You can also find me on all the femcity.com websites. And Candice, how about you? Where is the best way to connect with you?
Well, my website is CandiceThomasIntuitive.com. I'm also on Instagram as Candice Intuitive, or on Clubhouse just as Candice Thomas. So you can find me at any of those places. And of course, you can check me and Terri Dean out. I don't know why I said your name, Terri Dean. Like, you can check me and Terri out here on YouTube, wherever you're listening to the show every week.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you so much. I was going to say, I don't know how to end this because usually it's like, thank you for coming, but it's like, yeah, we'll be back. So
I can't wait to interview you,
yeah.
and just, I'm going to throw this in at the very end. Just in the realm of coaching, for anyone that doesn't really know our history or our story with each other and how we met, I did coaching with you when I was just like in a horrible space in my life. And we worked together for about 6 months. You gave me my wings. I was able to fly. You're an amazing coach. You're an amazing support system, and really helped me to clear up and get dialed into what I needed to do and what steps I needed to take to move forward. So your coaching is killer. And as it turned out, a couple of years later, we just, we've ended up being friends, and now we're like besties. And I just couldn't be more grateful for you. And I love it that you're so much younger too, because you can take care of me when I get really old.
That's hilarious.
I love it that my circle is, it's the same. Like, I have a lot of people my age, but I love it because I now have all these 40, 45-year olds in my inner circle. I'm like, this is great. And they have kids, and I'll be taken care of one day if need be. So
That's
anyway,
hilarious.
I love you. And
That's hilarious.
yeah, I think we need coaches, and we need support at different times in our lives. And that's what people are there to do, is to help. So reach out.
Right on. I love that. Terri, I love you. Thank you so much.
I love you.
And you tried to minimize it, but seriously, Terri, she's one of those people, because of virtue of who you are, you do have connections in high places for folks. And so if they want to know more, it might be, worth your while to reach out. But again, I would really watch this video before you do, so you don't come with any nonsense.
Yeah, like give me so and so's name. No, I'm not
right.
just
How
gonna
about you
dash out
just give
your
me
name. Like, give me
this
a break.
connection? Yeah, like
No,
how
give me
about
a
you just
break.
do this for me? Right. So watch the video again a couple times so you know exactly what that should look like. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you
Love you.
next time. Bye.
1, 2, 3, 4.